26% of journalists say they have unknowingly reported on a story that was later found to contain false information. More on the rise of disinformation. Then the new normal. What's the recent history of the phrase and where does it apply? And then learning English from a bear. We will dissect the making of a story.
This is DMS English News with Oren Andrade.
Disinformation is a symptom of disease such as systemic inequality. When something is systemic, it's all over the place, widespread, or just everywhere. The United Nations Human Rights Chief also said disinformation spreads when people feel that their voices are not heard. Michelle is asking for an international approach for states to promote and protect rights, such as freedoms of expression and the right to access information. Otherwise, censorship, she notes, will be ineffective and harm the patient, as the analogy goes. She likens a sick patient to a person who does not have access to information, and she likens censorship as medicine, although not a very good medicine. Should the UN chief be surprised that disinformation is such a problem? Several years ago, MIT professor Noam Chomsky said there are 5 filters of mass media. The following is an illustration of his work by Al Jazeera 5 years ago.
Media operate through 5 filters. The first has to do with ownership. Mass media firms are big corporations. Often they're part of even bigger conglomerates. Their endgame, profit. And so it's in their interests to push for whatever guarantees that profit. Critical journalism takes second place to the needs and interests of the corporation. The second filter exposes the real role of advertising. Media costs a lot more than consumers will ever pay. So who fills the gap? Advertisers. And what are the advertisers paying for? Audiences. And so it isn't so much that the media are selling you a product, their output. They're also selling advertisers a product, you. How does the establishment manage the media? That's the third filter. Journalism cannot be a check on power because the very system encourages complicity. Governments, corporations, big institutions know how to play the media game. They know how to influence the news narrative. They feed media scoops, official accounts, interviews with the experts. They make themselves crucial to the process of journalism. So those in power and those who report on them are in bed with each other. If you want to challenge power, you'll be pushed to the margins. Your name won't be down. You won't be getting in. You've lost your access. You've lost the story. When the media, journalists, whistleblowers, sources, stray away from the consensus, they get flat. That's the fourth filter. When the story is inconvenient for the powers that be, you'll see the flak machine in action, discrediting sources, trashing stories, and diverting the conversation. To manufacture consent, you need an enemy, a target. That common enemy is the fifth filter. Communism, terrorists, immigrants, a common enemy. A boogeyman to fear helps corral public opinion. 5 filters, one big media theory. consent is being manufactured all around you.
Does this look normal to you? Maybe not, but more recently, bad weather is happening more frequently. Whenever a change happens so often that it becomes commonplace, we just say it's the new normal. And it's used in the negative sense. For example, when something gets worse, what does new normal refer to? When your environment changes to the point where you must live with those changes every day on a routine basis, it's the new normal. You have probably heard the date referred to as 9/11. That was the day the USA experienced a national tragedy. After that day, we started to hear this term, new normal. Is there a day in your country that everyone started to experience something new? What did you call it? Leave a comment below. For a long time, the climate has changed so much that hot weather is becoming commonplace. So we say, it's the new normal. And since 2020, everyone has to live with the coronavirus. So it's another new normal. And these events are all negative experiences. When you hear someone use the term new normal, you may see this. They're gesturing with their fingers. Those are called air quotes. People use air quotes when they're being ironic, mocking something, or when they think something is inappropriate. 9/11, climate change, and coronavirus are all inappropriate. Now we move to learning English from a bear. No, bears don't talk, but the footage of a bear on the front porch inspires discussion, especially when he appears to be ringing the doorbell.
It seems bears are everywhere these days. Folks have front row seats shooting home videos of bear antics on their lawn. But who expects a bear to be so well-mannered he'd pause at the doorbell, then, getting no response, gives up in a huff? Literally. It happened at 3:30 in the morning. Greenville County, South Carolina resident Wendy Watson woke up later that morning and noticed a couple of damaged bird feeders, so she checked her doorbell cam.
I think I might have screamed a little like, oh my gosh.
The Daily Mail dubbed the bear Ringy the Pooh, though paws aren't as effective as fingers.
Did it go ding-dong, or did he miss it?
It did not go ding-dong.
But he did leave his mark.
He put his nose on the glass.
He was doing like this, and put his
Right.
nose on and let the nose print?
He sure did.
A writer on Twitter asked, why would a bear ring your doorbell, and got loads of responses. Someone joked he was making a food delivery, Uber Eats. But we prefer to think the manners displayed by the bear Wendy now calls Boo-Boo can best be explained by Yogi Bear's famous boast,
I'm smarter than the average bear!
but instead of, as Yogi pronounces it, a picnic basket, all this guy got was some bird feed.
Until next time, this is DMS English News. I'm Oren Andrade.